Hello, and welcome back to the Higher Paradigm YouTube channel and podcast. I am your host, Laura. Before I jump in, if you enjoy the content of the Higher Paradigm, I invite you to follow, like, subscribe, share this material with anyone you feel would benefit from hearing it, would be interested in hearing it. And let's grow this beautiful little community into something much, much bigger of like-minded thinking. So I am going to jump right in because the content of today's episode has been channeling through me directly from God, Source, our Creator, however it is you want to refer to our higher power. This has been coming through since August. The reason this was coming through was because I asked a very direct question to God, and that is, why does it seem as though our world is run by evil, or those in positions of power are overtaken or controlled by evil? Why does it seem like there's just not good people running our world? And I want to share what came through to empower you, because God is calling me to share it and wants us all to know that we did not come to this planet to live in fear and to be controlled. It is very important to remember that the most important pieces of your life are in your own home. It's you, it's your internal home, it's your love for yourself, but it's also your relationship to your soul, your relationship to God, the divine, your creator, your higher power. And it's a relationship with your family and those that you love and closest to. It's about the values that you bring into your home. It's about the morals that you live by. And it's about standing firmly in what you know to be true in your own beliefs and not getting caught up in fearmongering, not getting caught up in feeling triggered and reactive to what is going on, moments of opposition or confrontation or disagreement, knowing that it is okay. It's really just knowing what we're up against and what we have to contend with. But we are not here to let opposition, what I share with you today, it's meant to remind you that regardless of the chaos that's going on in our country and in our world right now, your home internally and in your actual home with your family, your roommate, your significant other, whatever it is, can be a safe space where you feel joy, happiness, fulfillment, and it's separate from all of the chaos. Your life still gets to be good regardless of what you're seeing on social media, regardless of what you're seeing on mainstream media or hearing from journalists on YouTube. You get to feel good. You get to experience your day-to-day eternally blessed. This is about praying for those that have lost their way, and those that have lost their way are not a lost cause. There is a way out. And I know this because I was once overcome with darkness. I was once speaking evil, terrible things because I was in pain and I was suffering. So I recognize that when people are operating in this way, yeah, it's very demonic, and you can see it clearly right now. People are saying just really hateful, dark, awful things. That doesn't mean there's no hope. It just means let's stay in our lane. Let's be the embodiment of our own values and morals and instill them into our children and allow our energy, our light to ripple into the lives of those around us. So the first thing that came through was that things are coming to a head. It wasn't just about how we are waking up to see how deceptive and questionable those in positions of power in the world, it feels like there's a lot just happening. Last week, there were pregnant women on TikTok purposely taking acetaminophen, finding out that Tylenol could be harmful or could be causing autism, and women purposely going on to stick it to Donald Trump and RFK and all of those that are in support of this movement is demonic. Potentially putting your child at risk and yourself at risk for what? A woman ended up overdosing on the Tylenol or the acetaminophen, and she was on life support and she was pregnant. If there wasn't a social media, would they be taking pictures of themselves and sending it into the newspaper or sending it to major news outlets? Would there be that much exposure to such stupidity? No, it is because of social media as a platform to showcase this stupidity that these women are doing these things. And so I definitely believe that even Satan has a role in why social media exists. And it's not to say that we can't use for the good, because essentially we can infiltrate the good into it. It is our duty to show up in these spaces and wash goodness through it, wash love through it, wash truth through it. Coming back to the original question of why is the world run by evil? It was very clear that God was sharing with me that Satan was condemned to this planet. And he was condemned to this planet because he is obsessed with power and control. And elements to cultivate power and control are through money, sex, violence, and I guess we can also say pharmaceuticals, food. There are elements that we need in order to survive in our culture, in this world today that we live in. And for many generations, we've needed money or some sort of good to exchange in order to survive, in order to thrive, in order to create the life that we desire. So Satan knows that and uses those different aspects of being human and living a human experience to his advantage. And he finds vulnerable people operating from fear or pain or wounding, or they already have resources. They already have money. They're already in wealthy families. And he uses these people to do his bidding. And it is to control the masses. So it is also to play out his sinister ways. And as I said in the beginning, I think the Epstein files coming out that there was a client list or anything like that was divine intervention to show us that there is some dark forces at play in this world, and they're keeping us distracted from seeing or knowing that mainstream media, the government, and even Hollywood love to distract us from the dark, satanic things that are really going on. And so it's as though Satan has power and control over these people that are wealthy in positions of power and have leadership roles and run the world. And they're partaking or knowledgeable of evil. They don't share it. They keep us distracted with another way to have power and control over us, which is through mainstream media and various other methods, such as pharmaceuticals or vaccines or food, or focusing on how important it is to be skinny or focusing on a race war or having us work tirelessly to make a living. There's many different ways that Satan has power and control over various aspects of our world, but also humanity. And so God then shared with me that this isn't to scare us. We didn't come to this planet to be owned or slaves to Satan. We choose to come to this planet as souls so that we can go through a human experience with good and evil, light and dark playing a role in our lives. And we choose to come to this planet to endure, to experience, and to overcome. So we do come knowing that we're going to experience pain and suffering and trauma and whatever else is on our soul contract, basically, the contract that we make with God and our spirit team before we enter into this body that we have now at this time on this planet in this life. And we know very well what we're stepping into. And, as God's explaining this to me, I'm thinking, so was I scared? Because if I had known that I was going to endure, all of the things that I had endured in my childhood and the amount of suffering and depression and all the things, if I had known, would I have wanted to come, or was my soul scared? And God made it very clear that no, your soul is not scared. It's on a mission. And that is like many of us on this planet. We're on a mission to bring light through the darkness. We are on a mission to experience pain and suffering, but not live there and die there. We're here to endure and overcome so that we can guide others to do the same and elevate or raise the vibration of our planet. We are here to bring more goodness back into humanity and allow goodness to wash over our planet. And so many of us are here to do that in many, many ways. And it's not always on a humongous scale where, we're like Martin Luther King or Jesus, for instance, too, like making these humongous impacts. Sometimes our mission is breaking generational patterns of trauma and bringing our lineage onto a new timeline. Some purely our own soul's mission to overcome certain things within ourselves to raise the vibration of the planet. Some of us are here to teach. Some of us are here to guide. Some of us are here to create. We all are here for a purpose. Some of us are here for a purpose that's not impactful or meaningful, is what I was getting. What I was getting was that some of us are here like extras in a movie, and it's just to sort of fill in the gaps on this planet. So the way that it was shown to me is that there are those of us that come to this planet and our souls choose to come at this time and enter into our mother's womb specifically. That is a choice that we make with God and our spirit team. Who's going to be our mother and father? And how is this going to look? And what is the journey going to be like? Some of us come to this planet to purely exist and to fill in the background, so to speak. They don't really contribute much to society. They're not doing much. They're not making an impact in some way, shape, or form in this world. They're just purely existing. And then what I was shown was then there are souls that come to this planet And God knows very well that they're going to end up basically turning to the dark side, or they're meant to be disruptors of and I don't mean disruptors like disrupting the matrix in a positive way. I mean like they're meant to be the ones causing pain. They're meant to be the ones that hurt people. I think of a narcissistic parent who never takes responsibility or accountability for their own actions and how they've caused so much pain and suffering to their child. And even when they're confronted, it's as though you're speaking into a hollow echo chamber because it's not in their awareness or their consciousness or in their soul's contract or in their soul's journey to be able to take responsibility, to be able to have the awareness or the level of consciousness to recognize how they're operating in the world. But the thing with the narcissist, I think, too, is that I think very early on, they end up super vulnerable to demons pretty early because of how they respond to their trauma. But that's still part of the contract. That's still part of the plan for what their life is meant to be on this planet. What's interesting about this is that before your soul or before the children of, say, just as the example, a narcissistic parent decides to enter into that parent's womb or be a member of that parent's family, your soul is aware you chose to endure certain traumas or certain experiences that caused you pain, but also were opportunities for growth, for healing, and to gain wisdom and knowledge. So the souls that come to this planet that are in this category of souls actually play a role in those of us who are here to do good in the world, who are here to make an impact, who are here to bring our families onto a new timeline. They are the catalyst, essentially. They create the opportunity to fulfill our soul's contract. What is coming through is that those who are disruptors or those who are causing pain and causing conflict and abusing or hurting people or whatever, there is an opportunity always for redemption. And it's often possible for these beings to find their way into the light. And the way that they find their way into the light is due to the vibration of the planet rising. So every time one of us who heals, who owns who we are, who claims their relationship with the good, with God, with love, who walk the path of love, who chooses to be a cycle breaker, who steps into their true soul's purpose. Every time we operate from love and raise our own vibration, and those souls that are here on this planet who are sort of just here to exist, that energy, that frequency ripples, and then it can then ripple into those that are unwell, unhealed, or demonic, or doing not good in the world, those that are causing pain and suffering and all of those things. So that is what's being shown to me as well. Going back a little bit again, just remember, like saying again, because it's coming up again, anytime those of us who are walking a path of love or operating from love or remembering to follow our moral compass, those who are standing in conviction of our values, speaking the truth. Every time we operate from our soul, that frequency that we're operating in is rippling into the lives of those who are lost, basically. So, what we're doing on this planet is such a good thing. The more of us that stand in our truth, speak of our relationship with God, speak of love, operate from love, remember to have compassion. Those of us who choose to heal, to take courageous action, to courageously heal, all of those things, it's going to ripple into the lives of others. That raises our frequency, our energy, vibration. And so that can affect the world around us. And it can help those that are lost to find their way back to the light, to the truth, to their values, to wake out of their sleep and break the chains of control that are had over them because of pain and suffering, but because they were vulnerable to demons and doing Satan's work. And the more and more that we wake up to see clearly how those that are in positions of power and how mainstream media has been gaslighting and manipulating us to gain control over us. This illusion of safety, those of us who are here to be of service and do good in the world, will ask ourselves, well, what can we really do about it? And it's not about stopping those that are working for evil. It's about having boundaries. It's about planting seeds and speaking what you know to be true and not being afraid. And the energy of your courage and your love for your fellow human and soul to ripple out into the lives of those that haven't seen or woken up yet. It's that saying, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you know that the world is operating in this way, you can't unknow it. But what choice do you have then? You have a more clear choice: continue to hide and be controlled, or you can keep waking up and keep doing the work needed to be done to stand firmly in your own values and beliefs and to guide yourself and your family into spiritual freedom in those moments that are dark, that are painful, that perpetuate suffering, or we've been abused, or we've been violated, or whatever it is. When we come up against people that operate from that frequency, we can feel triggered and we can feel unsafe and we could operate from a trauma response or people please or whatever it is. But when we can look at these people with a clear understanding of how and why they're operating this way and not take it personally and think that we need to be scared or we need to change or we need to protect ourselves or survive the moments, it's so empowering and it brings us closer to our greater purpose for being on this planet. So, doing the healing work around wounds of pain and suffering and abuse and being violated or verbally abused or instilling false beliefs into you about who you are or how the world works, fear, all these things, when we do the healing work around that and we allow the divine, our creator or God, to work through us and strengthen our spiritual relationship, not only to the divine, but also operate from our soul, we can show up in these spaces where they're very confronting and they're very uncomfortable and feel solid in who we are and allow our bright light, our courage, our love, our frequency to ripple out and wash over the lives of those around us. And if it doesn't, then we can be okay with that. And we can accept that. And we can recognize that we are not meant for everybody. And not everybody's ready for what we have to offer. Not everybody's ready to step into the light or a higher vibration. Those who are unhealed or unwell, being in a higher frequency or feeling the higher vibrational energies like love and joy and abundance and all those things, it is extremely uncomfortable. I do remember for myself that when I started to evolve and I started to heal and I was experiencing these deep sensations of love and joy, it felt scary to me because I always attributed love and joy to it's not sustainable. It's not something that will last. So I'm afraid to really truly let that into my heart and into my body. So you might feel rejected and let that be okay because your purpose on this planet is so much bigger than these momentary experiences of rejection. And honestly, oftentimes when people are rejecting us, they're rejecting themselves, how you or what you're saying or how you operate or what you do or the energy that you bring, aspects of that within themselves. And they are rejecting that within themselves. So it is a journey of self love and healing and deepening in relationship with God that truly will change. They're rejecting you in that moment because you make them uncomfortable, but you might helping them to transform. You might be helping them align themselves with their own unique, divine, purposeful path. Just know that everything is not what it looks like. It is so important to really learn how to discern energy, to recognize what your own spiritual gifts are, to hone in and feel strong and confident in your values, your spiritual relationship with your spirit team, your support team, God, your soul, all the things. And nobody can take that from you. So that is the freedom that we're looking for. And we will not be slaves to the devil. We will not be slaves to Satan if we find our way into this freedom and can look evil dead in the eye or look a person who is speaking from that dark, unhealed place and be able to see them more clearly and be able to have compassion for their pain and how they are operating. And then walking away, or even in that moment, just praying for them and praying that God shines their loving light down on in and all around them. I pray every night before I go to bed. And oftentimes I'm asking God to continue to guide us to raise the vibration of the collective, to continue to help those in this country, on this planet, to turn their face to the light. I ask God, please shine your loving light down on in and all around those that are suffering today, tonight, who are operating from pain, who are overcome by demons, whatever it is. I say those things, and I truly do believe in my heart that by more of us, more and more of us, speaking this way with God, it will help raise the vibration of this planet. So if you're feeling distraught and unsettled and concerned about the state of humanity, I encourage you to have faith, to keep your faith, and to pray, and to keep doing your own work, to keep being the light, to keep remembering and asking God to guide you back to compassion and understanding and love. Some of the most challenging things for me personally is the way that I speak, and sometimes being very judgmental of other people or taking things personally. And we see a lot of that right now. Of course, there are going to be moments where we are out of alignment with compassion and understanding and love, and we speak in ways that are not in alignment with any of that. but that is part of the human experience. We have an opportunity to be very aware of how we're showing up in the world. And we can ask God and our spirit team and our soul to help us do it better and to continue to commit ourselves to that and not perpetuate or contribute to the world's judgment and the world's criticism and the separation and the hatred and the negativity and the darkness. We can do better individually every single day without having to be perfect. God always forgives us. God loves us regardless of when we speak out of alignment. And so it is okay for us to forgive and love ourselves too. So that is today's episode. Again, it's not to instill fear, it's to shed light on where we are and what's really going on a spiritual level, on an energetic level, and to guide and support you on your journey of being the light and operating from love and becoming the absolute best version of yourself and aligning with your highest path. So I hope that that's what this episode does for you, of course. Thank you so much. I look forward to continuing these types of conversations and more. Again, as I said in the beginning, please don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to this channel if you enjoy this content so that you can stay up to date with new episodes dropping. Also, don't forget to share this content with those you believe need it, who would benefit from it, who would love it. I am on a mission to grow this little community into a large community of like-minded souls walking this path of love. The wayseers, the light workers, the healers, those who are living a spiritual life and in alignment with the good and with love. That is what this community is all about. And of course, I would love for you to connect with me in the comments. Feel free to share any feedback about this episode. It would be such a joy to connect with you. So I will leave it there for now. Thank you so much for being here. I will be back again next week. Much love and many blessings to you.